the infrastructure behind the scenes has really never been stronger. We're getting regulatory clarity. We have increased ETF usage and issuances. We have virtually every major bank in the world either already using blockchain as part of their plumbing or planning on using blockchain as part of their plumbing. We have multiple sovereign wealth funds buying and holding these assets, in many cases mining these assets themselves. We have several nation states putting these assets on the balance sheet of their central bank.
Because AI is foundational to every single industry, it is going to become an infrastructure. It is very likely, and I'm certain this is going to happen, that every designer, every SolidWorks designer, every designer in the future will have a team of companions. It's going to be great for all of the designers because you have so many companions to help you do things. And what would be really fantastic is that you're working with your companions, and then it's time for cocktail, and because it's solidly 4:30 somewhere, and so you kick off your team to go explore all these different areas, and I want you to explore this, I want you to explore that, I want you to optimize for these areas and give me 3 designs, and when you come back, you have all those choices, and then you can go in and fine-tune it specifically yourself because you have the structured data, the 3D data. And so I think that the opportunities to reinvent how you think about design and creativity, that's going to be completely revolutionary for everybody.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang talking up the importance of the AI agent platform OpenClaw yesterday.
That whole notion that Jensen Huang talks about, digital employees and human employees, really kind of comes into full view.
It absolutely does, and that's why someone like Aaron Levy says that could actually be 100 times bigger than its existing customer base, but that also leads to a lot of complications, right? We kind of saw that. Remember when we talked about Moltbook, when agents started talking on their own behalf and chatting with each other? There's a lot maybe a lot of duplications, a lot that isn't exactly necessary. A lot of the folks that I talk to in Silicon Valley say that they're kind of trying to solve for that exact problem right now, but even that feels like we've entered this new chapter where we're trying to figure out how to make agents more effective and how to give them those identities.
Yesterday, my administration announced decisive action to help keep down the oil prices, including offering political risk insurance for tankers transiting into the Gulf, as you know, pretty dangerous territory. Further action to reduce pressure on oil is imminent, and the oil seems to have pretty much stabilized. We had it very low, but I had to take this little detour if it's okay with everybody. Scott, it's okay with you? Scott's the one who has to put up with it. He said, you have to do this now? I said, I have to do it, Scott, right? But it's been very strong, and everybody, including Scott, everybody feels we had really no choice. They were going to hit us if we didn't hit them because they're crazy.
If this war continues, will Iran try to close the Strait of Hormuz?
But they have not closed it. It is the ships and tankers who don't try to pass. But the strait is, almost empty of ships and tankers because of their concern. And we don't see any reason why we should negotiate with the U.S. When we negotiated with them twice, and every time they attacked us at the middle of negotiations. So there is no request for a ceasefire by us.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And I come back with that video just to make you think. And make sure you join the Patrons. If you're not a part of the Patrons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And we have John from Coinbase letting you know, even though it's not showing up in the price, there's a lot of building going on, and these big corporations and big banks are leading the way. And we have Jensen Huang pushing these AI agents, of course now calling them companions. And we know the agenda. They're going to keep pushing the language, so therefore you can make it seem like they're your friend. I know it sounds like a movie, but remember, your life is an illusion and TV is your reality. And AI and these AI agents now have money. Crypto is the money for the internet. So they can run this whole economy without a human involved. And remember, the Crypto Teacher told you. And Trump tries to reassure you The energy prices are not going to keep going up. And if the drums are beaten, we know energy prices are going to go up. But now we have the Strait of Hormuz is having less traffic and it's going to weigh on the oil and gas sector. But remember, guys, this is a plan. It moves in phases. What do they want to take over? These driverless cars, electric cars. And we've seen they have the technology where they can keep these cars charged by putting battery chargers inside the road or on the poles. And we know that technology is not for us. So anytime we're seeing the NWO making moves, you got to put the fourth industrial revolution in the mind so that therefore you can easily see the goal. Yes, we haven't heard anything about the climate agenda. We know either they'll dangle that carrot, and if they dangle the carrot and it doesn't work, then what do? They come with the stick. And right now, they're coming with that stick because we have no clue whether the Strait of Hormuz is closed or not. But we saw the strategy behind energy. Remember, everybody cut off Russia. China has been stockpiling. And now we have Japan and Europe sitting on the sideline. And if this becomes an energy crisis, we know there's going to be a lot of countries hurting. And like he stated, Russia is definitely going to be the winner. But again, remember, this is a plan and moves in phases. It's the rise of the BRICS nations, led by China with that digital yuan backed by that digital SDR, and the fall of America to Babylon with that United States World Reserve currency. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Trump saying Iran is begging for a deal. And of course, the prime minister says they haven't been asking for a ceasefire. So these drums are just going to keep getting louder and louder. And we're now here on the weekend. And we know we always get entertainment on the weekend. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Well, so the really big economic part of this story is the Strait of Hormuz. Strait of Hormuz is a body of water where about 20% of all world's oil goes through, leaving the Middle East for end markets. The Iranians have basically shut down the Strait of Hormuz. And if they can continue to keep it shut down, then we have a big, big problem around the world. The price of oil goes up, and one of the biggest beneficiaries of this big problem is Russia, because Russia doesn't have to go through the Strait of Hormuz. They've been sort of in the penalty box. A lot of people aren't buying Russian oil because of sanctions. But because of this now huge dislocation, Russia's sitting in a very strong position, and the price that Russia gets for its oil has gone up dramatically. And so I think this is really, if this carries on, if the Strait of Hormuz stays closed, Putin is one of the big winners out of this whole thing.
Wisely, I might say, is, of course, the release of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We're down now, but we still have about 400 million barrels in there. But to be honest, if you look at the situation in the Mideast, in the Gulf, clearly the big issue we all know is whether the Strait of Hormuz is really operating. And right now, operationally, its traffic is, shall we say, very, very slow. Going through there, practically non-existent. And so far, the price of oil, of course, has risen, the order of 10%. The price of the West Texas benchmark is, in fact, over $80. It hasn't been there in quite a while. And the fear is that if the strait remains closed for many, many weeks, that we will see a further run-up, possibly into the triple digits in terms of oil prices. But I also want to point out that there's a lot of focus on oil, but there's a huge impact on natural gas. Qatar exports a huge amount of the world's liquefied natural gas all through the Strait. That's shut down. And we are seeing stable prices in the United States, but very volatile prices for natural gas in Asia and in Europe. Where, most of the gas from Qatar, in fact, goes to Asia, but a fair amount to Europe as well. So that's another a big piece of volatility, and all of these may come back eventually to bite the American consumer in terms of rising energy prices.
We're going to have tremendous workforce availability. We're also going to have robots helping us. We're going to have a lot of robots helping us because we need it. And because we're going to town, we're building a lot between the AI and the auto plants. So we're going to need robots. We're going to have robots, but that's going to help us.
Robots hold steady hands in the operating room, and drones are redefining the future of war. Innovations of first-generation humanoids, factory automation, and autonomous vehicles have surged from private sector investment. Every one of these advancements is powered by AI. The robots are here. Our future is no longer science fiction.
Maybe crypto is actually built for the machines and we didn't even know it. And AI can easily handle private keys and easily understands transaction hashes and like how all this stuff works. It is money that is built for computers, even before the computers to intelligently handle it were built. So I find that interesting. And perhaps those of us who were involved in crypto pre-AI were kind of just like getting the ground ready for the AI systems to have a fully developed financial system handed to them, for better or worse.
This could be perhaps the greatest revolution in financial technology since the birth of the internet itself. Many Americans are unaware that behind the scenes, the technical backbone of the financial system is decades out of date, many, many years out of date. You know that. Paul and others are straightening it out, but payments and money transfers are costly and take days or even weeks to clear. Under this bill, the entire ancient system will be eligible for a 21st century upgrade using the state-of-the-art crypto technology.
And as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stable coins to do that.
I think stable coins could reinforce dollar supremacy, because with stable coins could end up being one of the largest buyers of U.S. treasuries or T-bills. So all of a sudden, if you are using a stable coin in Nigeria that's backed by the U.S. dollar, you don't actually have to have dollars. It's on your phone. You can transact.
We are going big on digital assets. So Trump administration has made digital assets a priority. I've seen estimates that just over the short term, stable coins could create $2 trillion of demand for U.S. treasuries and treasury bills. To put that in context, the number is probably about $300 billion right now.
We will take a close look at regulatory impediments to blockchain, stablecoins, and new payment systems.
Things the Department of Commerce is going to start issuing its statistics on the blockchain, because you are the crypto president, and we are going to put out GDP on the blockchain so people can use the blockchain for data distribution, and then we're going to make that available to the entire government so all of you can do it. We're just ironing out all the details so we can do it.
Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you can reduce the cost of virtually all goods and services. It'll make the United States a manufacturing superpower and the world capital of artificial intelligence and crypto. But with today's announcement, we take a major step to bring healthcare into the digital age. Instead of filling out the same tedious paperwork at every medical appointment, patients will simply be able to grant their doctors access to their records at the push of a button. Just a button and you're all set, and all the information the doctor needs will be immediately transmitted.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave